Hello, everybody, and welcome into This Is My Story, a podcast from Trinity Baptist Church. My name is Matt Jones, and I'm here today with Monte. We're here today to honor a member of our church who's no longer with us, but she had a tremendous impact on the place that we call church here at Trinity Baptist Church, and we want to do our best to honor the life of Dinah Hannah today. Monty, welcome in.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm also praying that we can do the absolute correct things for Dinah's legacy and also the tribute and history of this church and what has happened during her lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into this thing. Let's jog your memory and go back to. Can you tell us a little bit how you and Dinah first met?
Yes, that's a wonderful story. Turns out we both worked at General Dynamics, so we both were single. And even though the auditorium and even the cafeteria actually was set up so that folks could have their tables and have lunch and so forth, there were two lines that started at the very center and then branched out into two larger areas, and of course a rail more or less, and you could carry your food, your tray from one area to another. And I noticed that Donna was an outstanding, smiling, beautiful lady, being single and interested in, having a lifetime mate. And as it turned out that she saw me as well. And I understand that based on the ladies that she rode with in a carpool, that they encouraged her to move up closer to the rail. And as a result of that, I also elected to move from one line to another. And on that particular day, I had my food, and they had moved up almost to the rail in their table. And we looked at each other, and obviously we liked our possible introduction. And so I decided, well, I'm going to be bold and see if I can get her extension there at General Dynamics. Dinah did secretarial work. So as I slid my food across the rail, she had her lunch and she had some French fries. And so, well, this is a great opportunity to create a conversation. So as I walked up, I greeted her. And at that time, I said, "Can I have one of your French fries?" So I reached over and got one. And at the same time, I said, "Can you give me your extension?" Which she did, which was wonderful for me. I might back up just a minute and say that Dinah, with her talent, she took that circumstance, the little story about the French fry.
When we'd exchange glances, I didn't think of the chances that at my table you'd linger and then extend your finger. And with a move that was sly, you picked up my French fry. And oh, my heart did beat so when you ate my potato.
I got her number, called her on the job, and just a 4-digit number, and asked her for her home number. Well, that evening I called and tried to get a hold of Dinah and talk to her. As it turned out, the phone rang and rang. Then I realized it was Wednesday, and I said, "Oh, we've got a Baptist girl here. She's at prayer meeting." Ironically, that was correct. So, and she actually was looking forward to my call as well, I think. So it turned out that I did get a hold of her, and I tried to get a date as soon as possible. Well, as it turned out, I understand that she had already accepted a date with some other handsome guy. And but she told me later that she was not happy at all with that date, and that she couldn't wait to have a date with Monte Hannah. But the first thing I realized that, yes, she is a woman of faith. She and turned out to be not only just on a Wednesday night, but very much involved in her church and her family. It's just her entire life was in a part of Trinity Baptist Church and going to college and everything associated with Christianity. And then, of course, I learned very quickly that she could sing, and a wonderful singer, and she knew all the hymnals and all the special music that was available back in that time frame. So it turned out just the tip of the iceberg. Donna taught Sunday school. She did all sorts of interesting things, had a lot of humorous things that went along the way. But the bottom line was there was no question that as I got to know her more and more, her mom and dad, very prominent in Trinity Baptist Church. Her dad was a deacon. Mother was a women's missionary unit, also involved in Sunday school, choir. Ironically, there were 4 generations to include my granddaughter who actually sang or has sung on the choir loft here at Trinity Baptist. So music has been a prominent, hymnals, Christian music, special music has been prominent for many years.
Where do I go when there's nobody else to turn to? Who do I talk to when nobody wants to listen? And who do I lean on when there's no foundation stable? I go to the rock, I know he's able. I go to the rock. To the mountain, and the mountain he stands by me. Oh, and the earth all around me is sinking sand. On Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a friend, I go to the rock. Where do I go? Where do I go?
Well, she was an exceptionally beautiful lady. Naturally, she did not have to put on a lot of makeup nor dress like a movie star because she just had natural beauty. And on top of that, she was constantly smiling.
Mhm.
Very seldom did she ever have a reason not to smile. And so that was a natural thing. People were attracted because of her love and her personality, and so many other things that were God-given. Of course, it's unbelievable. And luckily for me, that beauty and some of that talent spilled over and continues on into my grandchildren. And it's a whole book could be written on just the circumstances associated with how Dinah involved here in River Oaks and certainly into Trinity Baptist Church.
We know Donna, she sure was a strong Christian. Could you give us a little insight today, Monte, on how she came to know Christ as Lord and Savior of her life?
Yes, and that's an interesting aspect because as we go through with this story, we'll realize that it appears to a layperson that Donna was, from day one, created for a particular reason to honor Christ. As an example, at an early age, her mother and father, having come from southeast of here, cotton growing country, Waxahachie, Frost, Texas, and that neck of the woods. On one occasion, they went to a revival back to their hometown, and revivals would start either on a Wednesday through Sunday or maybe Sunday through Wednesday. So the folks with Dinah at approximately 3 years old went to this revival. I visioned a old-fashioned revival with maybe even a tent and sawdust on the floor and possibly just wooden benches. The folks went to the service with Dinah 2 or 3 days in a row, and then time came to either go or not go, and they elected to stay home that night. Well, Dinah came up missing. Believe it or not, they finally, before they called the police, decided to go check the revival tent. Guess who was sitting on the front row? A 3-year-old girl named Dinah was waiting for the revival to start. All the way through her life, of course, her name is even her mom and dad were in service and happened to be reading the Old Testament, and the particular scripture pointed out the name Dinah, and Billy Wilson, her mother, pointed to the name Dinah, and Claude Wilson, father, agreed that would be a good name, in that Billy was pregnant, and they apparently assumed that would be a girl. So that's the beginning. She had a biblical name, and she lived up to her entire life. Just many things, beginning with, of course, school and her talent, her learning music. Dinah really didn't have professional training, to my knowledge, early on. Of course, in college, she did, but she was already an acclaimed singer, talented person in many other times growing up, to include certainly in high school, part of the choir, and got to see that and was recognized for her talent, to include Charles Duke direction, who was so well known and such a wonderful choir director. It's unbelievable in everything that Dinah did from a music standpoint and a Sunday school standpoint, because one of the humorous things that she did is back in, and she had a helper, Linda Kelly by name, and they were always attempting to figure out some way for the young people to pay attention to the scripture and pay attention. So they decided to do something very unusual. And in fact, I was assisted to help do that. As it turned out, on a Sunday morning, and I hope that people aren't offended by this, but there's a message for it. Dinah and Linda, which I assisted in helping that come across, she had me, and Dinah would go with me. Went to a restaurant that served brown bottles, that alcohol beer. And so we rinsed the bottles out, put the caps back on them, and Dinah and Linda and maybe one other Sunday school leader for young people had these brown bottles full of water. And so they put on a show a little bit, and turns out that the top took the tops off of the beer bottles and started drinking, and just having a kind of an interesting say-so. And of course, the kids were absolutely shocked. They couldn't believe that two Sunday school teachers, adults, were drinking beer at church on a Sunday morning during Sunday school. Well, the bottom line was they were able to tell you that you cannot judge a book by its cover, but you have to open up the book. And their idea was to try to get these young people to read the Bible. And that was their door opener. That was their attention getter. And it was quite unbelievable, but quite humorous. Think about it in the past. But she did things like that. Many things. She's just so full of ideas and so much talent.
Yeah, it seems like every week after the service would end, she would always bring me something from Sunday school that she had handmade with Bible verses. It could be candy, and I think we'll put some pictures up on the screen of some of those things. But what was amazing to me, I don't think she ever used a printer. I think she hand wrote everything and put it all together. I'm sure you had a hand in helping her with that. But what a special thing, and I still have fond memories of those things. And many times she would give me one and say, "Don't tell anybody," but I told him I ran out just so I could give you one. So I was always grateful after service to get that.
Well, yes, you're right. In fact, not only did she never use a printer, but on top of that, she would every week on a 4x5 card, she had actually in her own handwriting, which I have plenty of evidence of that, something that relates to the Sunday school lesson. Every attendee, a person at Sunday school, and then for church ladies there, would get one. And on top of that, she didn't blanket a text message. Every lady got a separate individual text message specifically directed to that person from Dinah. And when you have 12, 15 or more ladies in a Sunday school class, that means it's very time consuming. She would stay up way past midnight frequently. I'd have to almost demand that she come to bed to get some rest, to get back up to go to church. So was all came from her heart, all from her motivation to share the Bible and have friendship through it all.
Wow, that kind of dedication to serve the Lord should inspire all of us to do more than what we're doing now. And I don't know many people that would handwrite that and do the things that she did, but we sure are thankful that she did those things and that they have affected many people for the cause of Christ.
I think the memory of Dinah, it will continue on. As we mentioned, the ladies and the ones that know, like Matt, that actually, and our pastor Clint, who actually saw the weekly written handouts and the little cookies or sweets or candy that related to the lesson. As an example, at Christmas time, Dinah loved to do something with a Baby Ruth candy bar, small 2-center and whatever, 5-center. And she not only would have the story of Jesus involved in that, but part of that would be she did this along with her regular scripture reading or words that she put on those little 4x5 cards, but she would also have some special treat. And in this case, with the little Baby Ruth candy bars, she would change the name of Ruth to be Baby Jesus. And that was always, some of her talent, some of her capability, her thought and movement toward getting Christian message across.
What were some moments in the life of Dinah where her trust in God and her faith in God really stood out?
Well, I have to, right off the bat, I have to relate to Philippians 4:6-7, which indicates that we should not be anxious. We should take all of our worries and concerns in prayer to our Lord. Dinah unbelievably had a number of health issues for many, many years, yet the average person had no idea that she would absorb those circumstances and pain, and all the average person would see or gather from all that was that she was perfectly fine. So the bottom line is she endured, and it was very obvious to me and my family. She overcame so many things, and we'll go into those things as we proceed on with this podcast. She's just an unbelievable person to do what she did. A lot of humor involved as well, but just an outstanding overall Christian lady. Later, as she got progressively to the point where it appeared that she would not be able to come to church regularly, even though she did the best she could. She watched the cast on TV and kept up with everything going on. But in the hospital, the average person, even the visitors from this church, they would be just have an unbelievable view, because Dinah you would never have known that she was so sickly and always smiling. And in fact, the nursing people and the doctors at the hospital, there's a term that some people go to the hospital frequently, and they have a little term for those people. They just return over and over. But when Dinah, as she would have to go back, they were happy to see her because she was a blessing. All the nurses loved her, the doctors loved her, even the specialists really cared for her because she was a special person and always had scripture for them. And she would actually try to encourage them to dig into the Bible and certainly go to church. I'll say this, that there's a lady here in this church that Cindy Cremerin by name. Dinah was invited. I think I was there at River Oaks Baptist Church on a Sunday night, and they'd asked Dinah impromptu to sing. Cindy asked Dinah, since Cindy's also a great singer, what Dinah was going to sing. And Dinah told her that she didn't have a particular song ready, but she would depend on the Lord to provide that for her. Well, when her time came, she did a solo, a cappella, and it turned out to be such a stirring song and hymn that Cindy says there was not a dry eye in the Sunday evening service. And yet Dinah came with that, just as I just said, trusting the Lord 100%. And it seemed to just really be significant.
If we had a telephone line and we could talk to Dinah, what do you think Dinah would want us to know today?
In Dinah's case, I think that her primary message would be to know the Bible, to be a Christian, to follow through. And not only that, this Charlie Kirk, she would endorse what he's attempted to do, knowing full well what happened to him and where we believe that Charlie is now. But also, Dinah was a outstanding citizen. She believed in America, and to the point where even up to her final days, she had her voting card prepared to vote, and stayed up with world events and United States circumstances, worldwide circumstances. And she would encourage us to do that. I'm going to reveal this, and a lot of people don't know it. And if they don't, it needs to be revealed because it's so important for her past and obviously my past and my children's past. The Lord has kept me alive more than once, probably a dozen times in my lifetime. Average person, it probably couldn't believe everything that I've come through. But I was so blessed that between our two children, Dinah first was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It turns out that her grandfather on her mother's side died of, I keep saying type 2, and really it's type 1, infantile diabetes, they call it. Most people get that before age 30. It runs in many families. Turns out that we had our first child, Jennifer. The doctor suggested, even encouraged Dinah not to get pregnant again. Very threatening for her health. In between the two children, Dinah prayed, and son Mark was the baby, born as a result of prayers. Of course, that's hard on a person, particularly a woman, that should not have had children. And then, of course, the next circumstance that relates to seriousness, when the children were about, I think, 8 and 10 or thereabout, that's Jennifer and Mark, they were in elementary. Turns out that I was lucky enough, I'd worked at General Dynamics long enough to have a 3-day weekend when I wanted it. So I was off on Monday after a weekend. Dinah apparently came down with something on Friday night, which was unknown. She didn't feel good on a Saturday. On a Sunday, she was too sick to come to church. And luckily for me, on Monday, I was there. Had no idea what was going on. In the afternoon, there with Dinah, she was, of course, at home in bed. I had to leave and to get the children back from elementary. And somewhere between 3 and 4, if I was gone 20 minutes or so, Dinah was really getting in bad shape without all the circumstances. I called a local doctor to talk, and he misunderstood and thought that Dinah had low blood sugar. Turned out it was just the opposite of that. She had a serious infection, ended up with a high blood sugar. And in fact, again, I was so blessed at the right place at the right time. Dinah died. Her heart quit beating. I was able to give her artificial respiration and get her back. It was a blessing. The Lord blessed Dinah, my children, my family, this church, which was just the beginning of a significant number of days. I've learned since that only about 10% of the people who get artificial respiration under those circumstances survive. It was more than just a blessing. It was a miracle. Dinah went on to the hospital. She had 4 or 5 more heart arrest and was comatose. For those who are interested, her blood sugar was recorded as being the highest blood sugar ever at Harris Hospital at over 1,800. You're sick. Most people are extremely sick when they're 400 or 500. Dinah survived. Again, she had 4 or 5, at least 4 more heart attacks at hospital. She got edema. As a result of the heart attack, one or more of them, her blood circulation quit. Her whole body swelled, edema set in, gangrene actually set into her small intestine. The doctors did an exploratory surgery and removed the gangrenous intestine. Dinah had to start dialysis. She had to have heart procedures. She had a spinal tap to make sure that her fluid was still healthy. They did brain scans, all sorts of things many years ago. Dinah was only 37, actually 36 years old, going on 37 when this happened. Medical profession, I think, worked overtime because of her age to bring her back. Ran into a lady just this last year that was a nurse at that time who went to church here at the time. They really didn't expect Dinah to make it. The medical profession believed that she was on the way out. So again, another miracle, 10% or so. And there's a story that goes with that because in the hospital, Dinah got pneumonia, both lungs filled up with fluid because of edema. The specialist would check every day. Dr. Pullman, I think his name was. He came to me after about 2 weeks. He'd been there on the Saturday night before, and he indicated that he thought that was the end. On a Sunday morning, he came to me and he says, "Monte, I don't believe it. Dinah's lungs are perfectly clear." Another miracle, all my prayers, all my belief. And at this point, I need to share the pastor and the men of this church, the deacons. They did so much for my family, particularly for me. The first week, 10 days, I was completely without sleep. And they knew to the point where they felt like that I needed support and rest. The men in this church, Trinity Baptist Church, in that time frame, all hours of the nighttime, would take 2-hour shifts and come to be with me in that first week or two. It's unbelievable that love would shine through all of that, and belief in the Lord looking after the entire circumstance. As a result of that, yes, Dinah had more problems. But as I've said before, Dinah somehow or another miraculously just kept on not being overly anxious about things and would turn things around and make it positive instead of something to worry about. When we finally got back from the hospital, those two kiddos, all grown up, my sister, I had two sisters, they both volunteered to help. And the younger sister, Barbara by name, just a year or so older than me, adopted my kid more or less until Dinah was able to really resume. It's an unbelievable story there, too, because it's a miracle that Barbara, by name, even lived. She never drank a drop of liquor, but she got what I call an autoimmune disease, which wiped out her liver. She had a liver transplant and lived 35 years with somebody else's liver.
Wow.
And then, because of the closeness, Barbara told Dinah, and I'll bring this up in a recording, but that she would die before Dinah would. And you know the story. You met some of my nephews at her visitation and funeral. Barbara passed away 24 hours ahead of my wife. So she lived up to that statement, ironically. She and the, well, I say this over and over, the Lord had a big part of all of that. Had to be. Yeah. So it's just like when my son Mark, when he has a birthday, I say, Mark, he just had August, I guess, a birthday party. And I said, you know that you're here because your mother, meaning not only did she have you, but she prayed to get you here.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore you can't get sick. She had to have a significant influence on both the kids, Mark and Jennifer, but also grandkids. Not much influence on me, but no, that's not true either, because I wouldn't be singing in the choir if it hadn't been for Dinah and Milton Ledoux, who needed another male singer like Robert over there. And I was happy to be there because Dinah, being a type 1 diabetic, I always tried to sit behind her, and maybe you remember.
Right, yeah.
In case I could sense some low blood sugar problem.
Right.
But, well, there's one thing we need to bring up, because Laura Hicks, who was her Sunday school person, Laura Hicks was an insurance representative or salesperson until she met up with Dinah. Laura Hicks, even back then, wanted to be a nurse, she thought. Dinah encouraged her to be. And in fact, you know that Laura, toward the end, when Dinah needed a kidney, she offered to give Dinah, in front of her Sunday school class, one of her kidneys to Dinah. And that shows you how much certain people believed in Dinah and loved her. Oh, another thing, when being a school teacher, it's somewhat humorous. It's unbelievable. Dinah, in all the years that she taught high school, she never had to send anybody to the office. I mean, she had such respect and love coming from both directions that the children, high school students, didn't act up. Turns out that, as I said earlier this evening, Dinah's folks came from what I refer to as cotton growing country, down in Corsicana and Waxahachie and Frost and small towns like that. And then a little humor involved, because her dad was a semi-professional baseball player, and I even have a picture of him in his uniform. Mr. Wilson, Claude Wilson, I actually went to South America as one of the local teams, similar to Fort Worth Cats. Uh, Billy, of course, stayed home and had to pick cotton and do the chores that all families did. Well, when they started dating and finally elected to get married, I think they were married in Oklahoma, and as they left to get married, I remember it was always humorous that Billy Wilson told her family, and of course I've heard that myself, that she would never pick cotton one more time in her whole life, which turned out to be true. Not only was Dinah a terrific singer and impromptu, and she knew music, she knew hymns, she knew beautiful music, but she also was able to provide many sermons, and she's even conducted a memorial service for her sister who passed away. Dinah sang at her mother's funeral, at her father's funeral, at some of my relatives' funerals, just impromptu with wonderful hymns at the graveside or whatever. She had an unbelievable knowledge and talent and beautiful voice. So the story goes on. Not only was she a singer, but history and family things that she encouraged her relatives, her nieces and nephews, to be in church and learn about Christ. One of the things I'm reminded, steering away a little away from music, but just something that relates to the humorous part of the Sunday school lesson, but back to the Charles Duke was a music leader at First Christian Church downtown Fort Worth, in addition to the choir director at Castleberry High School for many years. Castleberry, through the help of Charles Duke, had a sale at what used to be the parking lot of Bank of America, now where the drugstore is. A lot of things were given to them to sell. Dinah was really involved in that, and as well as the local students, and attempting to my memory, a lot of the things came from the church downtown that was gifts, and they were able to sell. This one particular man seemed to have a lot of interest in buying things and writing checks and buying things. And Don was able to encourage him because of her smile and beauty and church life to and invited him to come to Trinity, and he got to watch Dinah sing and with the choir, and it became apparent to me that this man was more interested in Dinah instead of the church and certain things associated with the church. And as it turned out, my gut feel, excuse my bluntness, but the man had written the school a number of hot checks. Now, we can only hope that something rubbed off while he was in church. Little things like that. Now, jumping back to Dinah and our children, again, Dinah was very supportive, and of course, right along with school. Dinah and the Castleberry school system were dismissed to see John Kennedy as he paraded through 183 here in River Oaks Boulevard. Unfortunately, he didn't live that much longer that day. But things like that. And of course, back to the school, Jennifer and Mark both, they were in an elite singing group because Charles Duke separated some of the best singers that were in the choir. They called them sextet. There were 6 boys and 6 girls, and both of those children were involved in that group while they were in school. Dinah had a big influence on that. So, and as that carries on, of course, as Jennifer got to marrying age and children of her own, as of just this last weekend, my oldest granddaughter, Hannah, performed as a result of the love and the musical motivation at the Southwestern Baptist Seminary in the Texas College Choir on 2 occasions, both on Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Prior to that, on Friday night, my 13-year-old grandson, Seth, was in a choir at Doxology Church of 400 young folks. And then even in Saturday morning, the 11-year-old was awarded a piano recital, first place. They all played instruments. And matter of fact, at Dinah's funeral, I'm happy to say that all 4 of the children, including Jennifer, either sang instruments, piano, or something. And then while I'm saying things about family, my oldest nephew was present as well with his group from his church, which was very much appreciated. Music continues. I can only hope that the music here, my influence, my wife's influence, the children and their future, the legend of Dinah's natural ability, and then, of course, the professionalism through training at college influences this church and my family indefinitely. I'm sure there's other things that I've left out in regards to music, but and family specifically. It just, to me, I have a hard time forgetting things that I wasn't able to do or didn't feel like I was able to. But just to think that Dinah, with her talent and strength and love, could do such things as she did for her mother's funeral, her father's funeral, my relatives' funerals. Professionals can do that, I'm sure, and certainly Dinah would fall in that class. And I've also said for years that if she hadn't met me, I think Dinah would have been a professional. I think she had all the capability to be one. We've traveled a lot with an RV, and Dinah, of course, I missed a lot because, an RV with a bed or a couch, you could take a nap. First thing you know, you'd be in a different state. On one occasion, I remember I said, Dinah, I'm looking for a turnoff on about Highway 25 up here, 15 miles up the road or so. Just kind of alert me. I don't have a map. And, 30 minutes later, I finally woke her up and said, are we at that turnoff yet? No, I guess I went to sleep. We bypassed the turnoff, so I had to turn around and come back. So little things like that. But one of the things we were blessed with is on our 25th wedding anniversary, we were invited to go to Hawaii. My oldest daughter, married to a medical doctor, said this would be a time of a lifetime. So we went to Hawaii and stayed there for about a week on our 25th wedding anniversary. Did a couple of the tours around the islands and so forth while we were there. Something that was kind of interesting, and there's a picture of it someplace. I have a picture of Donna Hobson, some of the folks that were here at the time. But one thing that Donna would do regularly, she called Whataburger, and Steve Taylor made reference to this. Donna had kind of a mission at Whataburger, and she would purposely not want to be invited to go to eat with church folks because she always wanted to go to Whataburger, because she had people that respected her. Any leftovers that she might have from her Sunday school, sweets or the little handouts with biblical writing, which she'd hand out. And she made some good friends and good Christians there as a result. One lady who was assistant manager surprised us when Dinah was in a rehab on one of those trips on a Sunday afternoon. Here came the assistant manager, all dressed up, having come from church, and brought Dinah her favorite Whataburger combo. So, well, first off, John Hatch, way back there, is the pastor that married Dinah and I. And I saw their anniversary recently, Mr. and Mrs. Hatch, as well as their daughter who was growing up here. John Clark, on one Sunday, Dinah had been at the choir and had a solo. Apparently she had a low blood sugar that she sensed, but she would not give in to the low blood sugar, even though she was on the front step on the choir loft. And I've been in the choir, I observed this, but was not able to do anything since she was standing. As it turned out, John Clark, the pastor, happened to turn around just at the right time as Dinah passed out in his arms. So, and of course, that was quite a deal. I don't think Dinah had any growing up. I don't think she was just a normal child, even though she had all this talent, because she was involved in River Oaks activities, the sort of things that most young people would be. She'd go to the movie locally and all that sort of thing. Was involved in church choirs or youth choirs. As I said earlier, I think Dinah had a natural ability, a God-giving ability. Ironically, we laugh about and joke about Baptists not dancing. Well, I got to see Dinah dance in a drama on stage at General Dynamics playground, one of their plays, excuse me. One other thing is very significant. I believe I was there at both of those, but Dinah was in the choir on 2 occasions with Billy Graham when he had his revivals in Dallas-Fort Worth. So she was selected to be part of that choir. One other thing, Ed Weber, who was General Dynamics director, a long-term person here at Trinity, as I recall, he was on the staff management, and he actually gave up his engineering directorship title to be back full-time here at Trinity. Both Ed and Bobby Weber, one of their sons, Steve Weber, having come up through the ranks here in singing music, as well as the Castleberry Choir, as well as being under the director of Charles Duke, ended up in New York City as one of the primary professionals in the musical field, even today. Something I think I need to add to this, which I haven't, is regards to my sister Barbara. When Dinah was recovering from her very first onset with type 1 diabetes and all the complications, my sister jumped in. Both of my 2 sisters helped with my children, both Mark and Jennifer. Barbara, just older than I, was really involved and helped all she possibly could. Along the way, the big mystery, Barbara without any knowledge as to why one of those phenomenons, but her liver was seriously ill. She had to have a liver transplant. She lived 35 years with a donor's liver. And along the way, they were so close that Barbara told Dinah that she would die before Dinah did. Ironically, that came true. My sister passed away 24 hours earlier than Dinah on the 30th of January, which ironically, in the United States, the 30th of January is a national day called the Martyr Day, M-A-R-T-Y-R, Martyr. And my sister passed away before. There's a blessing that came from Dinah's funeral that some people know about, many don't. I met a nephew that I had never known before as a result of Dinah's funeral. And Matt knows my nephew, his brother, as a result of Dinah and their mother passing away so closely. When they came to the visitation and funeral here at Trinity, I met Michael Stevens' brother for the first time. And of course, I was surprised to see that he was a well-known writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. But God has some interesting things, a way of working things out. That's a blessing in reverse, in that a funeral, a death, brings family members together that we'd never seen before. There's a man named Calvin Carter who I see on Facebook and sometimes at restaurants, he and his wife, long-term Washington, D.C. employee, excellent person. He gives credit to Dinah for having brought him to Trinity Baptist Church, the youth choir, and to get to know the Lord. He's a very serious believer. She had so many things that any one of those things could have taken her. As an example, tracheostomy in the first hospital stay. But then, as Donna had other illnesses along the way to COVID, she had to have a breathing device installed 3 times. And again, the statistics of survivability of just that treatment is something I've learned since. Only about 10% of the people who go through that survive. Donna went through it 3 additional times in addition to the tracheostomy. On one occasion, they thought that she was ready to have the breathing device removed, and it was premature, so they had to reinsert the equipment so that she could come back. Another thing that happened is miraculous. Dinah was taking medicine that was to avoid brain confusion, and apparently we messed up on the exact dosage or whatever, so I had to call the ambulance. I could not get her from the bedroom out to the car. The ambulance attendants could not take care of the problem. Sad to say, their answer, which was incorrect, they gave her a sedative, which was an overdose of sedation, and knocked her out thoroughly to another coma. Finally, they had the Fort Worth Fire Department take her out to the ambulance. She had to have that done one more time, another time that she could have died. But she survived one more time. That would have been the fourth time that she had had that procedure. Every one would have been miraculous. But Dinah left a legacy for the whole Tarrant County, the result of what the ambulance attendants did, what they should have done. Since they overdosed her, the three major doctors that handle MedStar agreed that they were wrong with the amount of sedative and the type of sedative. Every person over 65 years old in Tarrant County that is called by a MedStar ambulance now has a lesser dosage and treated differently. Through Dinah's circumstances, every person at 65 years or older in Tarrant County now are treated differently. There's something else that I need to bring up. It's very significant, and I'm sorry that it's toward the tail end of this discussion. That first 2 weeks when Dinah was in that 37-year bracket, this all occurred on October the 18th. By December the 18th, which was her birthday, not only did the church come to my support and aid and family support, but there's a lady and two other ladies that were members here, Donna Kirkendall by name. They came when Dinah was comatose, had oil, and they anointed Dinah's feet. I know significantly that the Lord blessed again as part of that miraculous recovery. Dinah survived many illnesses. Type 1 diabetes makes you susceptible to so many things. She not only had the gangrene of the small intestine in her first situation at Harris Hospital, but later on she was diagnosed as having cancer of the colon. Dinah had to have an operation. They removed the cancer, and then they had to take her intestines out of her stomach area and put a stoma. Dinah had a stoma as part of her digestive system for some number of weeks. And as she recovered, they were able to reinsert her large intestine, and she survived that again. The story that goes along with the cancer with the colon relates to my granddaughter. Dinah had chemo as a result of the cancer of the colon, and she had just completed that treatment, which I didn't tell her. But I had learned that my Jennifer had been called to the hospital being pregnant, and I took Dinah directly to the hospital just in time for my granddaughter Hannah to be born, which was premature at 2 pounds 11 ounces. Another miracle. And now today, Hannah is 20 years old and a terrific musician and terrific believer. I'm blessed that I can share this, and I'm pleased that this opportunity is available, that the staff and the folks at this church are interested in knowing this. Hopefully, will give all sorts of support, encouragement, and love. The bottom line is reiterate strongly, prayers are answered. That's our story.
Monty, thank you for being here today and doing this. And listen, if you have a favorite memory of Dinah, drop in the comments below the video here and share, and we'll get those to Monty so he can see them. And I just thank you for being here, and I hope you've enjoyed watching today. This is my story.